Hello, welcome to a new video. I'm Elsa and I'm an illustrator from Portugal. In today's video, I want to share with you a few tips that you may find useful if you're now in the process of creating your own physical portfolio, especially if you're an illustrator like me. And I will also share with you my portfolio. This was the last one I did. I did it a few months ago to take with me to the Bologna Children's Book Fair, and I will show you exactly what I've decided to include in it. And this was actually a request from a viewer, so thank you so much for requesting it. And let's just jump right in. The first thing you need to consider is why or who you're doing your portfolio for. This will help you answer other questions like which format is best or what should you include, because you should tailor your portfolio to the specific person you're showing it to. For example, if you're meeting an art director from a magazine to do some editorial illustration, he probably won't be interested in your children's book illustrations. So just respect the time of the other person and show them the things they'll want to see. And if you feel you don't have enough work to show, you can always just give yourself a brief and create some personal pieces. So in my case, I did this portfolio to take with me to the Bologna Children's Book Fair, so I knew I just needed to include children's books illustration things, and that's what helped me decide which projects to include. Let's talk about formats. There are quite a few formats you can choose for your portfolio. A lot of people opt for a binder kind of portfolio because they are easier to add things to and take out for different situations, or when you need to update your portfolio, you can simply take out the things that you feel no longer fit with the rest of your work. So they are more efficient in the long run. But on the other hand, they are less personalized. So in my case, I decided to create a book type of portfolio because I also wanted to keep it as a souvenir for myself, and I just like the way it looks, to be honest. And I chose to do a landscape format because I felt that most of my work would fit better this way than in the traditional portrait mode. As for the dimensions of the portfolio, I knew I didn't want it to be massive for two specific reasons. One, most of my illustrations are not thought out to be seen in a huge scale. And two, the portfolio needed to be portable enough to fit in my suitcase and light enough to be comfortable to walk around with all day. So in my case, I went for a 20 by 30 centimeter size. But I believe that something between an A3 and an A4 size will probably be your best bet. Also on that note, when I was at the fair, I saw these portfolio tips, and one of them said that huge size is not impressive, it's scary, and I thought that was quite interesting because I always felt like that, but I thought it was because I was too insecure to have my work in a massive size, but apparently I'm not the only one who thinks that, so there's that. Now, how many projects should you feature in your portfolio? I'm sure you've heard this before, but quality over quantity, always. Instead of having too many pieces, try and choose only your best work. You may have a hard time trying to choose, but remember that a lot of work doesn't show how good you are. It tells the viewer you're indecisive and you don't have a critical eye over your own work. Remember, you're showing your work to professionals. It doesn't take them long to know if they're interested in your work or not. And believe me, there's nothing worse than seeing someone bored looking at your work or rushing through the pages. So somewhere between 5 to 7 projects is probably enough, and don't forget to start with one of your best works to lead the viewer in, and also finish with another of your strongest pieces to leave them with a good impression of your work. Now, which projects should you feature in your portfolio? If you already know who you're showing your portfolio to, like we touched at the beginning, you must already have an idea of which projects to choose. So for a children's book publishing portfolio, try to have pieces that show you can illustrate books. So things like character design, people and animals of different age groups and in different poses and showing different expressions is a good idea. And also try and create different backgrounds for your characters to live in. I didn't have a lot of these in my portfolio because I usually prefer drawing characters over backgrounds, but I tried to create a few backgrounds for the purpose of this portfolio. So let's finish off with a few quick tips. First one, printing quality. If you're thinking of printing it at home to save time and some money, unless you have a very good printer and some quality paper, I would suggest you to have it professionally printed because you're showing it to people in the printing industry. So it's good that you can show your work to the best of its abilities. Another one is to always keep the same reading orientation so that the viewer doesn't have to keep turning your portfolio to view each page. It just makes for a more pleasant viewing experience. And the last one, always try to have a small description of each of your projects in your portfolio. If you're showing your portfolio in person and you're someone that likes talking about your work, you probably won't need this, but I always try and keep it safe and add a few words about each project in my portfolio. So in that way, the person viewing it can read what I wrote or ignore it, or we can talk more about each of the things there. I think it just makes it for a more pleasant viewing. So this is the portfolio I took with me. I just start with this illustration of a girl with her portfolio in her suitcase. And then when we open it, we have that suitcase opened with a few of my illustrations that you will see inside the portfolio. They are represented here. And we start with this project that I did this year during the Folktale Week. And it's just a few possible book covers. And I like this project because it showcases not only my illustrations but also a few lettering work that I also really enjoy, but I'm not really sure if it was the right project to start the portfolio with because it's not exactly book illustrations but book covers, so not really sure. But I really like this project, so I'm glad that I included it in here. And then we have these illustrations I did for this soundbook collection. And I think I have 6 of the illustrations I did for that project in here because I really like it. And there we go. Then we have this. So this is probably the oldest thing that I have in my portfolio. I illustrated this character over, I think 2 to 3 years ago, I think. And this was actually his first appearance. There it is. And then I decided to use it in his own story. So that's what we have in here. And here are just some different characters that don't belong to any story. And this illustration actually I did for my niece when she was born, and I also took to the fair as a postcard to give away to the people I met. So There it is. And then we have this character, which is actually inspired by my own dog. And I did a few character poses of that little guy or girl. And since I didn't have a lot of background work in my portfolio, I decided to do this spread, which also took me a long time to finish, but I quite enjoy it in the end. Quite like the final result. And then I have this character that here I also took as a postcard. There it is. And I think, yes, that's the last project. I then have this spot illustration of a girl and a thank you for watching my portfolio. And yes, that's it. Let's see how many projects we have here actually. So we have this one. So 1, 2, 3. I guess we can count this as 1. So 4, 5, and 6. So I have here 6 projects, I'd say. And yes, this is my portfolio. So that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with the things I shared or if I forgot something that you think is probably important to include in this list. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to keep up with my videos, subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.